Imagine standing in a hardware store, filled with tools, materials, and the excitement of starting your next DIY project. You feel a sense of accomplishment already, thinking you're saving money, time, and creating something unique with your own hands. But before you dive into building that dream project, ask yourself, is it really worth the effort, or are you just creating more work for yourself? Is starting from scratch really saving you anything in the long run? Let's explore when rolling up your sleeves makes sense, and when it doesn't. There's something inherently satisfying about building something from scratch. It appeals to the part of us that loves creativity, craftsmanship, and the satisfaction of doing it ourselves. But why do so many people dream of taking on these projects? For one, it gives us creative control. When you build something from scratch, whether it's a custom home, a piece of furniture, or even a project vehicle, you get to design exactly what you want, not a mass-produced item that looks the same as everyone else's. There's also a challenge involved. There's something rewarding about taking on a difficult task, solving problems along the way, and learning new skills. Many people also feel that DIY saves them money by cutting out the cost of labor or middlemen. And it's true, DIY projects can often be cheaper up front. But is it really saving you in the long run? Let's dive into that. The first thing to consider when it comes to DIY is the actual cost. When you build from scratch, it's easy to overlook the hidden costs. You might think you're saving money, but the reality is often quite different. Material costs alone can quickly add up. Factories and contractors buy in bulk, which gives them a massive advantage in pricing. You, on the other hand, are likely paying retail prices for wood, nails, insulation, and other materials. For example, the cost of building a small cabin might be higher than purchasing a pre-built shed. Not only do you face higher costs for materials, but you also need to invest in specialized tools. A tile saw, framing nailer, or other tools might be necessary for your project, but these tools can cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars and might only be used for that one project. And don't forget the time. Building from scratch takes a lot longer than buying pre-made or hiring professionals. If your time is valuable, spending months on a DIY project might not be the best investment. For example, while you could spend weeks building a shed, a prefab one could arrive at your door in days. On top of that, mistakes are inevitable, especially if you're a novice. Fixing errors means extra time, wasted materials, and frustration. Additionally, there's the opportunity cost. Time spent working on DIY projects means you aren't working on income-generating tasks, enjoying hobbies, or spending time with family. Despite all these challenges, there are still times when building from scratch makes sense. When customization is essential, DIY can deliver exactly what you want. For instance, if you need a treehouse designed to fit between two unevenly spaced trees, there's no pre-made solution that can compare. Additionally, if the goal is to learn or develop new skills, the effort of doing it yourself becomes part of the reward. For those working with a limited budget on smaller projects, like a bookshelf or outdoor planter, DIY may still offer a cost-effective option. And for hobbyists or people looking for creative expression, the joy of the process itself is often more important than the final product. But in many cases, buying pre-made is the smarter choice. For complex manufacturing, like electronics, vehicles, or precision-engineered furniture, DIY simply can't compete. Mass production benefits from advanced engineering, quality control, and efficiency, which are difficult, if not impossible, to replicate at home. High-volume items like nails, screws, or standard shelving are far cheaper to buy than to make yourself. If you need something quickly, pre-made is the way to go. Imagine needing a shed tomorrow. Buying one pre-assembled is far more efficient than trying to build one from scratch. For large projects or items requiring skill and expertise, hiring professionals or buying pre-made is almost always the better option. Sometimes the smartest approach is a balanced one. Instead of starting completely from scratch, why not modify pre-made solutions? This hybrid approach can save you time, money, and effort while still offering room for customization. For example, you could buy a prefab shed and then turn it into a tiny home. Or, instead of building an entire chair from raw materials, you could reupholster an old chair to suit your taste. Repurposing materials from existing items is another great way to save money and reduce waste. Using wood from pallets to build planters is a perfect example of making the most out of what you already have. So, is building from scratch worth it? The answer depends on your goals. For certain projects, especially those that require customization, learning, or creative expression, doing it yourself can be incredibly rewarding. But when it comes to larger or more complex tasks, the time, effort, and hidden costs often outweigh the benefits. The smarter approach is to assess your options carefully, weigh the time and costs, and find the right balance between DIY and pre-made solutions. By doing so, you can get the best of both worlds, the satisfaction of creating something yourself, without all the unnecessary headaches and expense. If you're thinking about starting a project, remember to ask yourself, is this something I really need to do from scratch? Or can I modify or buy something pre-made that saves time and effort? Choose wisely, and you'll end up with a solution that's both practical and rewarding.